Anyway, so what's coming up? Let's start with Strava and Garmin. Oh my days. The second topic I want to talk to you about, boom, New Balance's SC Elite V5. As I promised you last week in the previous episode that we would talk about Puma and Saysky. There's going to be a section in these podcasts where I talk about running news, stuff that's happening with the brands that you kind of need to be aware of. And this is this week's topic. Welcome to another episode of the Bigger Than Running podcast. My name is Aubrey. I'm a very average runner, simply trying to be less average by the day. As at the time of filming this, the new YouTube channel where this podcast is hosted has 38 subscribers. Thank you to each and every one of you for following me to this YouTube channel. For everyone else who's joined on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, wherever you get your podcast from, please know I'm grateful that you choose to listen to this podcast. Anyway, so what's coming up? Let's start with Strava and Garmin. Oh my days. Anybody that's talking about Strava and Garmin, first of all, needs to give credit to the main man, DC Rainmaker, okay? That guy is putting in a whole lot of work to try and find out. Oh, wait, before do you know about this putting in work? All right, my son and I, we got this saying, we're putting in that work, okay? That boy, DC Rainmaker, Ray, he's been putting in a whole lot of work trying to find out what's been happening in the legal spheres, right? Anyway, if you don't know, I'm gonna re-jog your memory just a little bit, right? A while ago, oh yeah, I'm no legal expert, and also I like to exaggerate for dramatic effect. So I might make some stuff up, not intentionally, it's just my understanding. If I do get a single thing wrong, please feel free, jump in the comments, correct me, it will be good. We can engage on it. All right. So look, there are two things that Strava is saying that Garmin has gone against their patents. Okay? Patents. One of the two. Right. Segments and heat maps. Okay? Strava's gone, hey, listen, we have registered those as being ours. You guys are using them illegally. That's not right. However, Garmin already had these things running before all of that. However, that's not even the main reason why Strava is suing Garmin. Matt Salazar, who is Chief Product Officer at Strava, then decides he's gonna get honest. DC Rainmaker has called this guy your drunk uncle. I gotta tell you, I agree. He goes on Reddit. Now, for those of you not on Reddit, Reddit is an app. It's a forum of different topics, different groups, and people comment and add in their input depending on what the topic is, right? So Strava have their own subreddit, their own forum, and Strava users go and join their members. They're all in there. This guy, Matt Salazar, bless him. Bless the guy. I don't know. I don't know if he was having a bad day. I don't know. He genuinely seems like a sound guy, a really nice guy. Anyway, so this guy, right, he posts in there saying, setting the record straight. Now, I've memorized this post. I've talked about it on my Instagram, right? He basically said, the reason we're suing Garmin isn't because of those two segments. We're annoyed. We're going to retaliate. If they're going to ask us to do something, we're going to do something back. There's something that Garmin had asked Strava, that Strava was retaliating for. Strava had done only last year. Let me explain what that is. Now, Strava pulls in data from other apps, okay? That's all they do. That's all that Strava does. That's unfair. That's unfair. Within the Strava app, you can start your run in there. You can start your workout, whatever it is, your walk, whatever it is you're doing, you can record it, and therefore Strava can generate that data. However, not many people I know do that unless their Garmin watch has died during the run. You can then record it on the Strava or your Apple Watch, Wahoo, whatever it is. That's how I know it, okay? The majority of people start their run on their watch or on a bike, on a cycling computer, whatever it is that you use, and eventually that data then goes into the primary app. So let me use Garmin because I'm a Garmin fanboy, okay? So I start my workout on my Garmin Forerunner 570. Boom, boom, boom. And when I'm done, that saves and goes in the Garmin Connect app. From the Garmin Connect app, it then gets imported into my Strava, okay? That's what happens. That is exactly what happens, okay? Now, Strava also contributes to other people's data, okay? So Strava last year asked everyone that says, listen, if you use Strava into your app, make sure you acknowledge where it's coming from, but saying it's been sourced from Strava. They even went as far as cutting off ties to other apps, which people really love Strava for, because their Strava data could then go to these other apps. But Strava cut off ties with those apps, right? That was last year. So Strava then asked these people last year and says, if you use Strava data, make sure you say it's from Strava. We're going to give you 1 month to make those changes if you don't already do it. Everyone says, fair enough. If it's coming from Strava, we've been given 1 month, we're going to do that. And they did. Garmin this year then goes, guys, if you use Garmin data, can you please acknowledge that it's Garmin data? We're giving you 6 months, not the 1 month that Strava gave everyone, 6 months. You're going to get 6 months to do this. Everyone has done it, apart from Strava, of course. So Garmin then says, we've noticed that you haven't done as we asked. We're going to give you a month from now to comply. Strava goes, no, they didn't. So Strava retaliates by putting in this lawsuit about the segments and the heat maps. That's what happened. That's what happened. That is exactly what happened. And that's what they were doing. When I say retaliation, that's what it was. Now, just in case you think, for dramatic effect, I'm making this up, this chief product officer from Strava posted this in Reddit himself. He even introduces himself going, hey everybody, this is Matt, Chief Product Officer from Strava, setting the record straight. Like, I was shocked. Has anyone from your legal department, anyone, have they read what you just posted? Anyway, he starts by saying, so they asked us to put their logo if we use their data. Now, Garmin have made this announcement public. Garmin didn't ask you to put a logo. You could do it in writing. They didn't tell you specifically how to do it. They then makes 2 statements. He says, we believe this request by Garmin to be blatant marketing. They want to blatant market their Garmin usage or their app through our Strava. I then go, hold on. Very hypocritical. You guys asked the other guys to do the same last year. Garmin's asking you to just match that. Keep the same energy, right? So what do you mean? I then go, actually, you know what? When I go into my Garmin app, I don't see all this excessive advertising that I see on the Strava app. Because on my Garmin Connect app, everything I need to see in terms of my health and fitness, my running, my performance, my predictions, all of my data that I require to see, I get in the free version. Oh, not Strava. In Strava, for you to see your own data, your personal records, your personal best, you got to pay for it. I wanted to see how much mileage I've done so far. Got to pay for it. I wanted to see the predictions that they have for my 5K. Got to pay for it. The next thing, I scroll down, they're inviting me to run this month's 5K challenge by Bulldog Face Cream. That is blatant marketing, Strava. That there is blatant marketing. Not what Garmin's doing, what you are doing. For me to access my own data, my own performance stats, I have to pay. That's marketing. That's all you guys do. As soon as I log in, oh, don't limit your performance. Pay for the rest. Come on, bro. The second thing that Matt Salazar's statement said that everyone was so annoyed about is then goes, Garmin is telling us to do all this kind of stuff, but we don't believe that because it's your data. Whoa, 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 Strava. It's our data, is it? Then why am I being asked to pay for it every time I want to see it? It's our data. Are you kidding me? You're having a laugh. I got annoyed and I felt patronized. I felt so offended by that statement. So much so, I went to my Instagram and I made a reel just ranting. It kind of took off, that reel. A lot of people saw it. If you haven't, you can go to my Instagram and check it out. Bigger Than Running. Scroll down, you're going to see it. I did 2 parts. Anyway, so that's where we are. It then was left to go, okay, let's go and see what happens at the end of the month. Because Garmin had given these guys a month that if you don't comply, we're going to cut off Strava's connection to the Garmin Connect app, and therefore Garmin users won't be able to automatically upload their data to Strava, which then led people to commenting on Matt Salazar's post on Reddit. Oh my gosh. Honestly, I have seen backlash. None like this. It made me question, if you are the chief product officer, has somebody from Strava really looked at what you've posted? Have they reviewed the legal department, the marketing department? Heck, I don't know, even like the apprentice who's just recently joined Strava. If they reviewed it, they would have told you, hey, hold on, bruv. Are you sure? bruv, come here. Are you sure? Are you sure this is what you want to do? There were 2 things I questioned. The lawsuit itself, because Garmin doesn't play, bro. Garmin is a very big organization. It doesn't play when it comes to defending these patents, whatever you want to call them. It doesn't play. It's got a very good track record. Somebody should have just said to Matt Salazar, like, come, bro, come here. Who's hurt you, bro? Like, what's happened? Do you know what's happened? What's brought you here? What? I'm telling you, if you go to Reddit or just Google Matt or Strava setting the record straight and then go to Reddit, read the comments. Basically, there are 2 themes there. 1, what are you doing, Strava? Second, I'm canceling. People that had paid for their subscriptions, as well as even people that don't even pay for subscriptions, canceling their accounts because of what Strava has done. Honestly, it left the world confused. Like, Strava, what are you doing? Right? Anyway, fast forward, I'm chilling. Again, DC Rainmaker strikes again with another video, right? This time, he's announcing that Strava has withdrawn their lawsuit without prejudice. Now, without prejudice, ignore that bit. All it said was Strava has gone, my bad, bro. Yeah, we didn't mean it. We did, but the outcome we were hoping for hasn't quite come to fruition. So, Mr. Judge over there, Mr. Court System over there, can we have our papers back? We don't want to sue them anymore. Now look, when people do that, you want to congratulate them for taking the high road. You want to congratulate them for seeing sense. I just can't help but wonder how grown people, how a whole leadership team, a whole management team at a big organization like Strava scored such an own goal. How they massively dropped the ball. I don't understand how that has happened. I just don't get it. So, anyway, they've withdrawn the case. The next thing I'm yet to hear about, which I haven't heard, is if they're gonna comply with Garmin's request to indicate that the data is coming from Garmin. Now, I'm gonna tell you straight. Why does this matter? I'm a Garmin fanboy. Given the choice, Garmin or Strava, see you later, bro. See you later. Because Strava, and I'm sorry if this is blunt, and I'm sorry if this comes across as rude, I don't mean it to be, but Strava has no use to me on a performance, on a training, on a running, on a fitness, on a health level. None. The only use I have Strava for, I've got two uses. Checking out what the people are doing. You know, I want to see what Ben is running is doing, what Kafuzi's up to. Megan, she's training for a marathon. Give him some kudos. Bam, bam, bam. And sometimes I'll check if people are responding to what I'm doing. Boom, 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 boom. Give him some kudos. The second reason, and most useful reason, which I now think is absolutely superseded, is that little image. You know that little image you download so you can put it on your Instagram? That little image. I now do that with the Garmin app. So I don't even need Strava for that. Now, the reason I got baffled, two reasons I think. I think Strava thinks they're much more important than they are. I'm sorry, I'm just going to be blunt. I think Strava think they're much more important than they actually are. Bro, listen to me. You are our running social media, okay? Stay in your lane, be that. Until you start producing your own hardware that people can generate their own data for, come on, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Second reason, I think Strava underrated, underestimated, or simply don't recognize the significance of Garmin. Surely you must have the data. Surely. Because like, if my son comes home, right, and then goes, hey, Dad, I don't like how you pay for the bills here. I don't like how my bed's not like this. I don't like how my room doesn't. Do you know what I'm saying to my son? Hey, bro, since you're grown, you want to start criticizing about how I pay the bills, how I provide for your food, your bedroom is sorted and all this kind of stuff. Why don't you go get your own house? That's what I'm telling him. All I need you to be, son, is grateful that your dad is doing this for you. The same way my dad did for me. You start feeling you're too big for your boots, go get your own other boots. Go start generating your own data. Because Strava, let's be real. Primarily, you don't generate data, bro. You don't. You don't. You're like Deliveroo. You're like Uber Eats, okay? You don't cook, all right? McDonald's, KFC, Pizza Hut, those guys cook the food. What you do is you go get the food from you go get the food from over there and go bring it over here. That's it. When we say we like Deliveroo and Uber Eats, we're not liking them for how good the fries taste. We say that to McDonald's. We're not liking Deliveroo, Uber Eats because the KFC chicken is nice. No. Deliveroo, Uber Eats, know their lane. Strava, get in yours and know yours. And the people in leadership at Strava, honestly, I felt like these are basics, absolute basics. I don't know how you let Matt Salazar, and it may just not have been Matt Salazar, could have been other people. I don't know what you were thinking. I feel like maybe there's some evil genius, clever plan. I don't know. It seems too, I don't want to use the word stupid. It just seems a little too poorly thought out, unstrategic to have been done like this. That maybe there is some secret game plan we don't know. I just don't get it. I really don't get it. All right, so where are we now? We're still using Garmin. Garmin's still gonna stay Garmin. We love Garmin. That's never gonna change. What I wanna know is, are you gonna do what Garmin said? Are you going to now start showing that the data is coming from Garmin? It's coming from Wahoo, coming from Apple, coming from Polar, from Sunto, whatever it is. Are you going to do that bit? Okay. That's the bit I'm waiting to see. So when it comes to November 1st, 2nd, 3rd, we will know. I guess we will know. But hopefully things are resolved, things are good, and everyone can then live happily ever after. All right. So that was my first topic. The second topic I want to talk to you about, boom, New Balance's SC Elite V5. I've just published a review on my main YouTube channel reviewing this shoe. I want to talk about how I got the shoe first as the main topic here. So I recently ran Chicago, and whilst I was in Chicago, we had a shakeout run with the Believe in the Run guys. That shakeout run was Believe in the Run in partnership with New Balance, okay? So obviously, man had to rock up in New Balance kit. Now, the New Balance guys provided everything that we needed for us, not only for me, but also for my son. And then I asked Thomas, I said, Thomas, is there a way I can get the SC Elite V5 for review? And he was like, well, they've already provided us the Rebel V5. They've already provided us some lifestyle shoes, the kit. So no. But one of the tech reps, one of the people from New Balance, and just an all-round really lovely lady is sorting a pair out for me. In the meantime, Thomas then says, hey bro, I've got SC Elite V5s, I've got a pair I'm gonna bring out to you. But he then committed that same pair. I think he had committed that pair to someone else before I'd asked. And so he had to give it to that person, and I agreed with that, and I said, okay, fine. And he says, but if you want, I can give you the one I'm running in right now. I've only got, I want to say 50 miles on it. I was like, yeah, okay, cool. And that was this pair. So the pair that I have is a hand-me-down from the BFF at Believe in the Run, Thomas. And so I decided I'm going to give it 50K because I've kind of set myself a benchmark. I'm only going to give a review of a shoe on my YouTube channel when I take it to 50K. That 50K is going to be a combination of easy runs, interval sessions, as well as long runs and a recovery run. Okay, that will be 50K. I'm training for a marathon. Now, let me just say it out right now. I'm hoping to get a place at Tokyo Marathon. If I get a place at Tokyo Marathon, it's going to be not only my 6th major of the Legacy 6, it's also going to be my 7th because I've done Sydney already. So I'm campaigning very hard to get a place there. I don't have the place yet, but I've already started training for it. So enter this shoe. I did 50K running, I think, across 5 runs in this shoe. I had a 17K long run, and that was to mark celebration of my Instagram reaching 17K followers. And so we took it out on a run. The run was supposed to be 13K until I hit the 17K, so decided to push it to 17. 2 10K runs, a recovery run, and an interval session, which I did with my friend Dan. That took me to 50K. Excellent shoe. Now, I wanna tell you this in terms of what they've done to this shoe in relation to the previous version, the SC Elite V4. They've made changes to the drop in this shoe compared to the V4. So the V4 had a stack height of 40 millimeters and 36 millimeters at the front. The V5 maintains that 40 millimeters at the back and now is 32 millimeters at the front, doubling the drop from 4 to 8, which means less foam at the front of the shoe. I also think, now I don't know how this has worked, but that decline in the foam, the change in the plate, I actually think the SC Elite V5 is a much more relatable shoe that doesn't feel too much of a super shoe. It feels more natural of a running shoe, closer to a daily trainer than a lot of these race day shoes. So If you're looking for something snappier, in my opinion anyway, something a bit more aggressive and fine-tuned for race day, go back to the SC Elite V4 because that is not only going to be more affordable, but it feels a bit more of that. The disadvantage with the SC Elite V4 in my 9.5 UK is 255 grams. Whereas the V5, because of they've made the platform of the shoe a bit more narrower and less foam at the forefoot, is now 225 grams. So that is something you need to be mindful of. The other thing I want to say that significantly changed in this shoe is the heel. Now the heels of these shoes, in terms of the lower part of the heel, they've maintained that structure. But when you start looking at the padding of the SC Elite V5 versus the 4, it's much more padding in the SC Elite V5. Again, that's what's making it feel a bit more natural fitting. Key change number 3. So we've talked about the weight. We've talked about the heel. Key change number 3 is they've gusseted the tongue. Not only gusseted the tongue, but the tongue in the V4 had this consistent material. It's not thin per se, but they've got considerable more padding in the tongue at the very top where you do your laces to remove that lace bite, but it's also a gusseted tongue. That I appreciated for. The one thing that I kind of said I didn't like about the V5, I don't care too much about the colors because colors can change, but the print on it has this, I don't know what it is. It's like a spike, like I don't know. You know, like the back end of the Nike swoosh, if you're listening to this on audio only, but if you're watching this thing here, this thing here, this spike, I don't get it. I don't know why. It just, I don't know. Aesthetically, the V4 to me is exactly where it's at. So that gives you an overview, rough comparison of the shoes. As I promised you last week in the previous episode that we would talk about Puma and Saysky. There's going to be a section in these podcasts where I talk about running news, stuff that's happening with the brands that you kind of need to be aware of. And this is this week's topic. In the last episode, I talked about my experience with Lars when we went out to have lunch whilst I was out in Chicago. But as at the time when I'm filming this today, the Puma Saysky Part 2 collaboration just went live. So if you're looking into that, please check it out. The guys there were kind enough to send me the first collaboration as well as the second. So we're going to talk about what's come out in this one. Now, a few things went wrong. The guys at Saysky have got my sizing, because they send me stuff. I work very closely with them and I work very well with them. They send me stuff. Unfortunately, they had my old sizing. For those of you don't know, at the 8th of June, this was the last time I weighed myself at the heaviest. I was heavier. I was 91.2 kilos. And I say to myself, by August 31st, which was Sydney Marathon race day, I'm going to bring myself to 80 kilos. Manage that. I then said, ahead of Chicago, I'm going to take myself to 76 kilos. I managed that. Now, Saysky have got my sizes from Old Aubrey at 91.2, extra large. That's what they sent. So when they sent the clothing, the apparel for this campaign, they sent me the old stuff, which just hangs over me. It doesn't fit. So I'm not going to show you all of that. I want to talk you through the footwear. Okay. So the first collaboration, they had a hoodie, they had all these clothes. The one thing that I loved about that collaboration was they did my favorite Puma shoe in a Saysky collaboration colorway. Now, for those of you not too aware of what Saysky is, I think they're based in Copenhagen, and they are honestly, from a quality perspective, as well as them being bold in their design, their colors, they make apparel, and the quality is unmatched. The colors are very bold, as you can see if you're watching the YouTube one. Anyway, they collaborate with Puma, and in the first collaboration, they collaborated on Puma's Deviate Nitro Elite 3, okay? This is that shoe I'm holding now. It's the same shoe from a performance perspective, but if you look at the midsole, you got that Puma X Saysky, and on the inside of the shoe, you see that Saysky written quite boldly there. And even this colorway hadn't been seen yet. And I loved that. I really loved the look of it. I thought this was bold until I saw what they've done to Puma's Fast R3. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, let me show you. I've got the Fast R3 here. This is the normal Fast R3, the launch colorway, okay? This is what they launched with. Comparing that to what Saysky has brought to this package, boom. I just loved it. Now, here's what I like as well. When you look at the design of the Fast R3, you have on the outside, there is always the logo, the Puma logo. You know that downward swoosh? I don't know what they call it, that. But when you look on the inside, one shoe has the animal logo, the Puma logo. And on the inside, you then have, of the other shoe, you then have Saysky in words. What's even more intriguing, and I love, if you turn the shoe upside down and look at the outsole, you then have one with the animal and the other one with the Saysky star. Now, Puma has what they say as forever faster, forever whatever it is. That forever bit is part of their slogan. The star is the logo for Saysky. So this collaboration is Forever Stars. And I really like that. So they sent me the Fast R3. From a daily trainer perspective, they sent me the Velocity. And from a daily trainer perspective, they sent me the Velocity Nitro 4. And this is a bit more tame of a colorway. I got this in a navy blue. But you can see from the midsole, it's got that splatter. It then has the Puma Saysky. I really like that. So it's not really, there you go. So if you look at the midsole on this Velocity Nitro, you'll see what I said, Forever Stars. You're gonna see that there. I don't know if they have it. No, they don't have it on the Fast R3. So that's what's come out. It's live if you want to check it out. Really, really thankful for the guys to send these to me. Thank you. Let's move on. Finally, let's talk about what's coming next, what's on the race plan, and I would also love to hear from you. I thought I would share this because I think from a running community, we not only like this running stuff for us, but we like to just support the running community. So I'm going to tell you what I'm doing if you want to get involved. So I've got 3 races. Only one is officially signed up for. The other 2, I will get around to it. The other one, well, I'm hoping I'll get around to it, but we'll see. So the first one is Brighton 10K. Recently, I went up to Scotland, Inverness, to run the Loch Ness Marathon weekend, the 10K race there. I didn't run the marathon. So I ran the 10K event. Before that, my fastest 10K was 48 minutes and 20 seconds. Very proud of that. But having lost weight, having done some more training, I thought I would try and see how I fare. And I got myself a PB, 47 minutes and 50 seconds. When I go out to Brighton, November 16, I want to lose the 50 seconds. So I'm training super hard now to get myself 46 minutes something. And that is November 16th, Brighton 10K. If you are in the UK, please join us. It's good to support these local events, but also it's good to just be together. So if you run around that same time, for example, it would be good for us to run together. Join me, 46 something. It's gonna be the plan. Right. After that, on February 15th, I wanna say, the Sunday around that date, is the London Winter Run. I've always done this one. I missed it last time simply because of Osaka Marathon. That's why. But otherwise, I always do it, and I try to fundraise for cancer research. So that's going to be the plan. February 15th, 10K. Also going to run that hard. Now, if I don't run it hard, it's because the London Winter Run, honestly, it's one of the most fun races. It's cold as heck. Hoka always launch something around that time. So it's an exciting period from the shoe perspective. But more importantly, there is street entertainment throughout the course. And you know me, as soon as I hear music, I act a fool. I want to dance with everyone. I want to meet other runners. I lose focus and I just start enjoying the day. But the plan will be to run that thing hard. That's going to be the plan. Lastly, on March 1st, so the end of February, is Tokyo Marathon. Now, I don't have a place. I don't have a bib at Tokyo Marathon. I am just hoping. I'm hoping I'll get a place. I'm hoping somebody sees the foolery I'm doing on my Instagram as well as my YouTube, whether that's ASICS, a marathon tour organization, I don't know, some rich billionaire, I don't know. But I'm hopeful, simply because I want to close this world major chapter, and Tokyo would be that final one. Before I close this episode, I just wanted to take time to thank everyone that has made that marathon journey a possibility. I'm going to start here. Adidas, Berlin Marathon. I was invited to run that with Adidas. Thank you so much for being a friend. And I say a friend because there are people at Adidas that genuinely are my friends, that I message and I talk with, and we've got relationships outside of running. And they saw to it that I was invited. Thomas, Megan, Robbie, Carl, believe in the run. Thank you so much. Chad, Jarrett, Lo, Megan, thank you so much. You not only make these things possible, but thank you for your friendship. Okay? After that, did New York. Again, believe in the run. New Balance and New York Road Runners. The person I want to specifically call out, though, is the New York Marathon race director. His name is Ted. Very kind-hearted man. And he sees to it that he greets runners at the end of these marathons. And I got to see him in Sydney. And very mind-blowing moment. Let's move on. After that, Boston was next. Boston, I ran now with Adidas. Got to take part in some Believe in the Run's activities as well. And I'm forever part of the Believe in the Run family. So that to me is an honor. It has marked what was a very ordinary running journey become something super extraordinary. Okay? After Boston was London, I want to say thank you to Cooper. Cooper is a training app. And they're the official London Marathon training app. If you don't know, check it out, download it, use it. But I got to try out their app. I trained for Boston and I trained for London, but it was through the Cooper app that I got my place, the bib, and the hospitality that came with it. So thank you very much for that. Okay? Sydney. For Sydney, I then ran with ASICS. Now this was a life-changing moment. Not only for ASICS, but this was the time I decided to make a change physically, lose weight, mentally, to get a hold of what I was doing here on social media. So ASICS, thank you for the opportunity. It truly is a mind-blowing experience to travel all the way to Sydney, and that gave me a chance to work very closely to one of my favorite YouTubers, Kofuzi. And so a very big thank you to Kofuzi for your company and bringing me along your Sydney Marathon journey. More recently, we then did Chicago with the Nike brand. Thank you. Thank you, Believe in the Run, for that weekend. Thank you to Nike. And as I go to looking towards Tokyo, I don't know how that story is going to unfold, but whichever way it goes, please know I will be transparent and share that with you. I've already started training, and the training series is already live on my main YouTube channel. So please, if you've got time, check that out. Okay, I'll see you in a bit.